perfectly without messing any of those up.
All right, so with that being said, we are underway. I've seen that message in about half of the seeds I've gotten from the website recently.
Yeah. Well, hey, if this is a bomb start, they get one more shot at holding a bomb above their head and just, running after the guards.
That is true. I think if there's anything I'm going to hold a bomb over my head and run after, it's that stupid rat.
The problem with that rat is he's exactly as fast as you are, so
yeah, and a little faster when you're than you are when you're holding something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we got Brian strats.
Why did I say blue cane?
So the thing about Brian is it's actually okay. Ooh, the nice bomb drop right off the bat. That is certainly something we want to see. And then 3 bombs in the chest. So it's just like, meh, whatever.
All right. Well, all my fears about a blue cane start have gone out the window.
Like hyphenated, you thought you had an advantage. This is no longer the case.
But you know what? That's 1 bomb for the back of escape and all 3 that you need for Kakariko Village. So
yeah, very nice.
That's all right. Although the odds that another bomb is going to show up for dustsen. Sorry, I pronounced that incorrectly. The odds that another bomb is going to show up for dustsen at some point are through the roof.
Well, that's true. It is kind of, depending on how much of this Cane of Brian he decides to use later on, it may be a while.
That is true.
So now we're already up to 5 hearts. So feels good.
Yeah, we're healthy. So we can face tank enemies quite a bit while we're getting ourselves killed, having terrible weapons.
There's that bomb we were talking about.
That's 2 single bombs as the first 2 prize pack items from the Green Guards. That is very friendly for Blue Cane.
I actually think it's the same bomb in the prize pool because one of them was a dagger guard and the other one was a sword guard.
Oh.
So I think they're actually 2 separate things.
Are those 2 different prize packs? This is...
Well, the thing is, every enemy gets put into a random prize pack.
Oh.
It's not necessarily the same. And since the dagger guards and the sword guards are different, they can be in different prize packs.
I'm learning fun things about the prize packs today. Prize packs are, when you start playing Randomizer, your thought playing the game is like, I just need to get through this. I don't know where anything is or what I'm doing. And then later on, you start to think about things like prize packs and key logic and some of the more advanced stuff.
So Dustsen actually ran out of magic here, so he's going to need to pick up some more if he wants to use the Cane of Brian to kill the key rat. Though he does have bombs if he wants to decide to use those.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to use bombs if you don't have to. Those things are good for other things.
Right. So another trick with the Cane of Brian, which I need to talk about, is... So a lot of people have trouble making sure that things get hit. The trick to remember with the Cane of Brian is that no matter where you hit your enemy from, it's always going to go up.
Yeah.
It's always going to be knocked in the upward direction. So ideally you want to pin it against a top wall and just kind of stand there and then turn it off when the last hit happens.
That's just physics, folks. It's like how a bicycle wheel exerts force in a different direction than it's spinning. I'm just making that up. I don't know why they programmed it like that. Okay, we are off to the sewers. Dustsen is going to have to pick up some of the magic jars that are in here if he's going to use his Cane of Brian to take out that rat. Otherwise, we are stuck with bombs, which is not really a situation you want to be in.
Now, we knew that particular chest was going to contain a key. And I'll be honest, I may have forgotten the contents of one of the chests that we've seen. I can't remember if we've seen the map yet.
I don't think we have. It's been all either heart containers. I think we found a big 20. We found some... Oh, wait, what was in the... Well, now I'm second-guessing myself. Hyphenated opted not to pick up the green potions, but...
Yeah, he had enough magic to use it once, but he used it on the wrong rat, so he had to end up using some bombs.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He did have enough left over and get some replacements back there. That was a garbage side room. Not much of anything in there interesting. I mean, the bombs are convenient, but you want to see something like... the thing that I like to see in there is a glove, because then you're thinking, oh, well, maybe my opponent didn't manage to make it in here.
So pretty much a direct sink on this exit from escape, and there's basically a crap ton of money.
Yep. That is everything that they're going to want going into Kakariko Village. I mean, except for the good stuff like a bottle and a flute. So this is the first potential point of diversion here, where one of them might go up to check the lumberjack, which generally contains garbage, but sometimes contains progression. Sync back up for those bush throws.
Yep, the sink is real, but Big 20 is all we find in the lumberjack cave.
Somebody should probably tell them they probably dropped that down there.
All right, so sitting on the ground in the forest, we have another Big 20, which Dustsen is going to go ahead and pick up.
Yeah, you know, it's not a bad idea. I am guilty of that a lot. There's a hook shot.
Yep, the hook shot is definitely required every time.
If you don't know how to hover, you're going to want one of those.
And sometimes even if you do know how to hover.
Yeah, you cannot hover Swamp Palace, so good luck with that. Yeah, I like picking up the big 20s very early on. You know, you kind of want... The ideal is having 600, 650 rupees coming into Kakariko Village that you can pay for everything that you could possibly want to pay for. You certainly don't want to get to the Zora area as a last resort and have 470 rupees. That just feels terrible.
Well, so far, just some extra money and a little more ammunition capacity. But there's a sword.
Well, we're going to need one of those.
You're going to need at least 2 of those.
Yes, indeed. 3 if the game is being nice. You know, that hookshot doesn't do anything for us yet. We're still looking for some other kind of progression here.
There's a mirror, which gives us something, but not actual progression. We've got to unlock some more things. There's 300 more rupees. That's all the money you want.
Yeah, there we go. That's enough
I
to pay off
believe
that stupid monkey even.
I believe the technical term for that is number wang.
Yeah, 708 is number wang. So is 714, though. It's weird how that works. Oh, that is a ton of hearts. So again, we've got like 2 really nice items in the hookshot and the mirror, but again, neither of those are our progression. They're going to do stuff for us later. That's same with that, possibly. Ether very well might be useful later, does absolutely nothing for us right now.
All right, so Dustsen now is going to head into the library. We've got just a 5-arrow upgrade, so let's see what we find over at the race game. Oh, hello. That's
Yeah,
a
we're going to
moon
want
pearl.
one of those.
Okay, so stop me if you've heard this one before. Cape, lamp, glove, or flippers, or hammer.
No, I've never seen that combination of items show up in a seed. Curious what that could possibly, what this mystery. Is that like a bingo card?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's also number wang.
Yeah. A lot of things are number wang. It's weird. We got our orb, which somehow made its way over here from Mario 3. This, again, it's going to be really useful later on. Does not represent any sort of progression currently.
Oh, there's a hammer.
Again, it's going to be really useful later on.
So the presence of the hammer does, in fact, indicate a much lower percent that Aghanim is required.
Yeah, that's, I mean, the moment we find some mitts, rather some gloves or mitts, gosh, as soon as those things show up, Aga is pretty much dead.
It could be that weird scenario where both gloves are in the dark world.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that can happen. You can have one of those great things where one of the gloves, or both of the gloves, are in the Village of Outcasts. Love it when that happens. Well, a change of clothes is nice, but doesn't really do anything for us progression-wise. That huge load of money plus the Moon Pearl means that we may see a fake flipper play out of one or both of these runners very shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine I would be fake flippering at this point.
You certainly, like, if there's any chance that fake flippering can keep you away from having to do an Aga Tower climb, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yesterday, for the first time, I did the water walking trick to get around Aghanim.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's a rare one. A situation where you have boots, but somehow still technically need Aga.
Yeah, the hammer was not available yet.
Oh, gross. Yeah, early hammer here is honestly pretty lucky. You absolutely want to see that. Hammer just locks so much stuff. Hammer and upgraded, like the mitts.
And both players are doing the fake flipper trick.
Yes, indeed.
Hyphenated managed to pull it off a little smoother than dustsen, and Hyphenated is actually just straight going to Zora and going to leave Hobo for later.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a little bit of a risky play, but it's certainly, like, if what you're looking for is back there, it is the faster play by a wide margin.
Yeah, and you can, of course, there are easier ways to get to Hobo once you've got Dark World access.
Indeed. So we got a little moment of truth here. Do we actually need those flippers, or maybe the boots? Nope.
Ooh, silver arrows on the Hobo. That's
okay.
That's something that Hyphenated may never actually get, depending on how he decides to route things.
Yeah, that's a curious one. It really depends on how late those flippers decide to show up. Thanks for that, Zora. That's an extremely valuable 20.
Minus 96% return on investment.
Yep. Yeah, I sometimes I wonder about this Hyrule economy. Like, nothing seems to work. Who's buying those 20s? Where's the food? Why is there no food? What?
There's apples.
Oh, there we go. That's everybody's eating apples and going to the bar. Sounds great.
All right, so Hyphenated will now be checking Saha's Rala's closet.
Yeah, this is our next biggest play. There they are.
Okay. Yep, our gloves are now available, so Aga officially dead.
Yes, indeed. And we have our Dark World access. So Hyphenated, interestingly, is taking that Dark World access and saying, no thank you. I'm headed off to Pendant Eastern.
I'm not going to lie. If I were Hyphenated, I would be tempted to, instead of going up these stairs, go down, go to Pod, and then mirror to Eastern if I really wanted to do Eastern right then.
Yeah, you certainly could. And I mean, even if you're bow locked out of Palace of Darkness, you're still going to be able to make the same play into Eastern. I gotta wonder if he's thinking that by the time he gets to the Dark World, there's some possibly higher level plays that might be more useful. Quarter Heart Refill's nice, though.
You know, I didn't see what was on the island. I don't think it was important, though, because I would have noticed.
From Dustsen side, we've learned that we have Skull Woods as our green pendant, which is not the worst dungeon for a pendant to show up in.
So now Dustsen is taking that Dark World access and doing something with it.
Yep. So this will be interesting. Like, if something shows up in here for Hyphenated, it could be a very, very long time before Dustsen makes his way back there. Swamp is our other pendant. That's on my top 5 list of least favorite pendants to see. Although, to be fair, there's only 10 possible places they could show up in. But especially when you know that the flippers are going to show up and you've already been given the mirror and the hookshot and the hammer. There's a red cane. And there's a flute. Okay.
Nice. Hype Cave is real today. I'm curious, where are you coming up with the idea that the flute is, or the flippers are going to be accessible?
Wasn't Ice Palace a crystal?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah, but it might not be early.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
that's
Flippers could be your go mode item.
That's absolutely possible. And honestly, they might just never show up. They might be there at the end of Eastern Palace, and, you know, we can fake flipper our way into ice and never touch the place. It's just this worry of, like, we're one item away from being able to get a Swamp Palace, and it's a pendant. That's what's always sitting at my mind when I'm playing these kinds of seeds. Is like, oh no.
Like if I see flippers, I'm gonna freak out right now.
Yeah, it's not good. Seeing flippers before you've been given the Titan's mitts. The seed's like, hey, do you want to make a little trip in the swamp?
Now, when that happens, even me, as someone who is admittedly very averse to going into Swamp Palace, even I would go there.
Oh yeah, the Titan's mitts show up in Pendant Swamp way too often for you to ignore it.
All right, so we've got some digging taking place here. Yep. That was 20 digs for a big 20, so
Yeah.
maybe a dig 20? I don't know.
Whatever it was not worthy of that little jingle at the end. So we got dustsen. We got both of these runners making their way in Village of Outcasts. Hyphenated sort of did Hype Cave and then was like, I need to make my way straight into Kakariko Village to turn on this flute. Dustsen, however, says, I'm going to finish off my lower Dark World route, see what else is there. Wasn't much of anything, if I recall.
Yep. But at least he's going to get his swag duck activated now. And there we go.
Yeah, we're going to need one of those if we want to get to Misery Mire.
So Hyphenated now making the play on Skull Woods, which is an interesting play, given the circumstances. Still no Fire Rod available.
I think I'd be more worried at this point if I did have the Fire Rod, because it's like, yep, you've got everything you need to complete this silly pendant dungeon.
So Hyphenated actually, fell in the hole on the left and did not find a small key, so had to go through the pot, or not the pot prison, but the pinball room.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. In this specific case, if he had come over there first, the routing in this would be a little bit simpler. Doesn't always work out that way, but it's just unlucky in this specific case that wasn't able to find a small key down at the bottom. We got Master Sword in the chest game.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it always makes me laugh a little, the places we find the Master Sword, just buried underground or sitting in a little mini game. Like, that's the sword of... Whoa! Okay. There's our flippers. So, where's that cape?
I mean, that, once again, may be the last item they find, and they may never find it. They may just fake flipper to ice. Same sort of deal we were talking about. Or it could just be right here. It's not, but it would have been hilarious if it was.
I don't think that's how the commentator curse works. It's got to be a little bit of got to be a little build up to it, a little bit of irony. Although, you know what? Like, if we do find that cape here in Thieves Town, then I'd be worried.
Yeah, maybe.
Nothing interesting so far. The big bottleneck that we're looking at right now is those upgraded mitts, I think, because I would suspect, I mean, there's a ton of stuff up there on Death Mountain that could be accessible right now, but I think a lot of runners try to avoid that before they have those Titans mitts, just because what if they're not up there? What if I have to make another trip up?
True. But I mean, at this point, they probably are up there.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think after Village of Outcasts is done, that's probably the big play, right?
Seems likely. Could also be in Pod.
It could, and that would be terrible. Like, you know, that again, that's another thing we've seen too many times to count, where the Titans mitts are locked away somewhere in the back Palace of Darkness, and the game's gonna ask a double dip out of us.
All right, so both of our runners once again making similar plays at similar times. Dustsen will be making their way to the basement to rescue the quote maiden, who is totally not fake.
No, definitely won't turn into a demon later on. So far, this Thieves Town has been just kind of garbage. There's nothing in here.
Have you ever seen that sprite used?
Which one?
The maiden sprite.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so when you when the maiden sprite becomes a bunny, it becomes the most adorable blind you've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
I am gonna have to go check this out. Oh, I love our sprite devs. There is some fantastic work done by those folks.
I believe it was Hyphenated who saw the flippers on the bumper ledge.
Yeah, which is possibly unfortunate news for Dustsen. He might go up there to try the graveyard ledge and notice the flippers up there, but other than that situation being the case, it might not be back there for a while.
Yeah, he hasn't gone to Skull Woods either, so he might head up there.
Okay,
Yep,
well,
and the full complement of items in Thieves Town found, and every single one of them is complete garbage.
yeah. I mean, unless you wanted another 100 rupees to pile onto your already massive stack of rupees. Well, this is either that Skull Woods play or a play up to Graveyard Ledge. It looks like you're right. It's going to be that Skull Woods at first, at the very least.
All right, so hyphenated, also making similar plays in reverse to Dustin. Gonna go ahead and check the digging game and Stumpy and the quote K45.
Yeah, this is the difficult part of routing this, especially with the mirror, is that after you finish up Village of Outcasts, you basically have two directions that you can go in, right? You can go down here, or you can go up to Graveyard Ledge and Bumper Cave Ledge, and we unfortunately already kind of know that the digging game is a bust, and everything else down here is a bust.
So there's one thing in Skull Woods that hyphenated did not check that he had access to, and that was the vanilla big key chest.
Did he not check that?
He did not.
Well, that's interesting.
So that gives Dustin a potential opportunity to check something different. Most runners won't, but looks like he's going to do it.
It's definitely not that bad if you have a sword and a red cane. It's definitely...
Did he? Okay.
It feels a little bit worse when you don't have any of those items, because getting the movement down correctly here is harder than it looks.
Not big chest, big key chest. The one that Dustin just picked at.
Yeah, the one with the quarter heart in it. Okay, this might... I mean, he's not saving and quitting, so this might be the play over to Bumper Cave Ledge as well as Graveyard Ledge? It's starting to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Hyphenated is making the Death Mountain play. Not happy about
Dustin's also making the Death Mountain play.
That's interesting. So both of our runners said a big no to Graveyard Ledge, which is understandable, especially when you don't have those upgrade. Oh, okay. Old man with the cape.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dustin, go back down. When you're done here.
Yeah, you got that. You got the portal right there.
Or just flute to 3.
Oh, that's interesting. So where's... I mean... Where's our lantern? He's not happy about that either. Like, come on. Don't be like that.
I mean, the lamp could definitely be up here. We have the flippers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking like...
I mean, not the flippers, the flute. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, and powder, too.
All right, well, now we can finish the game. That we found the important item.
Like, the sooner that we find that lamp, the sooner that those flippers could potentially mean a dip into Swamp Palace. Because I don't think that mirror has done anything for us so far. It hasn't really been useful at all. We already had our way up to Tower of Hera. We haven't gotten anything from the mirror spots.
Well, I mean, where did we get the hammer from?
Somewhere. Oh, we got it in... Where did we get that?
Oh, Emperor Sword.
Ooh, that's a nice find. We got hammer in the dam chest.
Right. So basically, hammer, hookshot, and mirror were all in the same rough sphere, as well as moon pearl and glove. So yeah.
Yeah, that
Tower of Hera is sphere 2.
Yep. We did not need that mirror to get up there. It also might not be... It's not fire locked, And if we manage to find another item in here, then we don't need to visit that basement at all, which would be really nice news for our runners. Dustsen opting to take the right-hand route first, which I kind of agree with. Like, if you don't know whether or not you're going to need a fire source of some kind to get through Hera, you kind of want to do a little bit more digging around, but... Ugh. Well, that's not a good find.
There's that small key, so Hyphenated will be wanting to find that second item on Moldorm.
And there's our mitts.
I mean, I said they were going to be up here.
Yeah, you did. You did. You were absolutely right.
So I guess that puts the lamp. Well, it definitely puts the lamp outside a swamp.
It puts the lamp in a lot of places, unfortunately.
We just know it can't be swamp.
Yeah.
Or ice.
I looked away for a second and I missed what the item was on Moldorm. Couldn't tell if that was a map or... Oh, and we have that ether medallion. Curious if Dustsen's going to decide to go in here. You generally can't get very far in there without a fire rod, but that's not necessarily true 100% of the time.
And, I think in the event where you can get farther, you more than likely will want to. And where you can't, you'll know quickly that you can't.
Yeah, right. It's very much like Pod, where if you're bow locked, you're bow locked.
Right. So does look like the last item was in fact on Moldorm, so we're good there.
And it does look like we can get just a little bit further inside Turtle Rock. It's not out of the question for Fire Rod to be in here. It is rare, but not impossible. And not even something that we haven't seen in this tournament. It's happened before.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And that's going to do it for Fire Rodless Turtle Rock.
Yeah. So that's not so bad. At least you know the next time you come in here, you only really have to do the Fire Rod section, and you've made a little bit headway further into the dungeon. You don't have to do that room again with the change humps, but it is a little bit of a time sink.
All right, so Hyphenated now picking up his Titan's Mitts as Dustsen finds his way into the Super Bunny Cave, which has the boots.
Nice.
And some bombs.
Oh, we want some of those.
Tempered Sword is in Hera. It's in the basement of Hera. There is our first bottle in Super Bunny Cave. No, in Hookshot Cave, and a book.
A mere 40 minutes in, we can finally go check Sick Kid.
Alright, so Dustsen is now going to mirror on top of Spiral Cave. He's actually going to go inside Spiral Cave.
Yeah, this is interesting. Like, he's aggressively avoiding Hera while a fire source, opting to take Spiral Cave over it. It's an interesting play. We know that fire source is 100% not needed for Hera, So,
Yep. So, Lamp and Spike Cave, anybody?
ugh. I mean, we got that cape. So what else do these myths give us, really? I mean, it might give us Misery Mire. We don't know yet. The book doesn't give us Desert Palace, because we already had our flute and mirror.
It does, however, give us Ether Tablet.
It certainly does.
Which it looks like Hyphenated may be heading to right now.
Yeah, this makes sense. And we very well may see a Spike Cave check immediately after this is done.
Alright, so Ether Tablet today contains a piece of heart.
Well, that's not very exciting. It's not exactly the power of the gods that you want to see drop from the heaven. Why'd they leave that up there?
Now, that being said, Spike Cave, in a seed where you start with the Cane of Burna as your weapon, Spike Cave becomes just a little bit more likely to be required.
Yeah, you've had this capacity forever. This is a Sphere 2 location. I mean, it's just a single rupee this time, but... Alright, Dustin picking up his Tempered. He's going to be pleased to figure out that he can finish the rest of this dungeon.
Alright, so with that, Hyphenated is going to go turn in the bottle of the sick kid.
Hey.
Find a red boomerang.
That is nice for menuing and maybe a couple other things. So we're still missing a few important things here. I mean, we don't know what the entry fee is for Mire. We're also missing both of our rods. We have no idea where that bow is. I still haven't found that lamp, although, you know, who really cares? And we're not entirely sure what the entrance requirement for Mire is, so we might need another medallion as well. We are still hunting around for a ton of stuff here.
Hyphenated is going to go get himself some flippers and also get bodied by a murperdactyl for no good reason.
That's just because those things are spiteful. I hate everything. So this is interesting. I mean, if he's getting the flippers, it must be his intention to use them next. And if he's going to use them next, where is he taking them?
To Catfish.
Oh, yep. It's gonna. I mean, if you got the boots, this is exactly the time that you want to do exactly this thing: Bonk Rocks, Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, and Catfish. Never a better time.
Yeah, and then I think maybe after that, what I'd probably do is just head on down to Pyramid and maybe Pod.
Yeah. I'm going to put in a hot guess and say that we have those boots because we need them for desert.
Ooh.
That's my prediction here. Well, I might be proven wrong in a moment once we see what's in King's Tomb.
All right, Graveyard Ledge today. Just a piece of heart as usual.
Okay, well, it's certainly much, much better that they routed that in now than previously.
And Dustin's heading over to the Mire area, which is a perfectly fine play, and we can see what we require. It is Bombos
Ooh.
today.
So we know Bombos is going to show up. That might even be our entry into Ice Palace as well. Just a small shield inside King's Tomb, so either those boots are for Desert Palace, or they're for the Ganon's big key torch, or they're just for looking pretty.
All right, over on Checkerboard Cave is next. Hyphenate is not going to Catfish, interestingly enough. I guess he's going to do the Smith chain, and of course, the Bombos is in the Checkerboard Cave. Why would this not be the case?
No, it's how it works. Oh, you don't have your Meyer medallion? There you go. It's either that, or it's like on Ped, or at the end of a pendant dungeon, or something stupid like that. It's never in between. It's never like, oh, I picked this up along the way. It's like, yeah, you're gonna be hunting around for this medallion for the rest of your life.
There's our lamp. It's in the Peg Cave.
Oh, what do you know? Hey, required boots for desert.
I mean, logically, yes. We don't know for sure until we see what's in this chest right here.
The big problem here for dustsen is...
Okay, now it's required.
Now it's required. Is if he doesn't find Fire Rod in the front of Desert Palace, he has a little bit of a problem.
Yeah. There are an entire section of chests in Misery Mire that do require some sort of fire source. And, of course, desert itself.
Yep. So this is interesting. Yeah, that's not gonna... Wrong kind of fire source.
Magic Bat, just a piece of heart.
So this is interesting. Like, doing a little bit of overworld first from Hyphenated's side is going to wind up making this... yeah, that's not going to do it either. It's going to make this trip into Desert and Mire much, much more safe. I mean, specifically, in this case, because we definitely need one of those things for Desert Palace.
So at this point, looks like Hyphenated's going to turn in the purple chest. He's not in the Dark World at the moment, so he can't check the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes. Oh, he's headed off to Desert/Mire. Well, Dustin had better hope that the Fire Rod is in here, or that he can get everything out of here, including the crystal, without ever having to touch the fire-locked side of the dungeon. Which is not out of the question. It's just not usual as well.
Right, it's not what you would call particularly likely.
No.
Basically, it would be if you... well, there's the big key. We can get through the dungeon at least.
All right. That part is lucky. However, we do have to kind of be a little bit worried if one of the items winds up being there on the left-hand side. Dustin would be completing... Oh, there's one of them. Dustin would be completing this dungeon without finding one of the items. He's going to go straight to Vitreous.
Interesting.
It's... Especially with how little of the dungeon he's cleared, I think this is the sensible play. Like, if you find an item on the back, then you just got to God mode Mire for free.
Indeed. All right, so Hyphenated is now making his way into Mire. Same situation.
Yeah. Except with the slight upgrade of having a fire source. So he doesn't have to do what dustsen is doing right now, which is Dark Mire Basement, which is the worst.
Yep. He's through the particularly difficult part, though.
Yeah. Never want to be standing in a room trying to place a block on a precise jumble of pixels while a bunch of people are shooting at you.
Using Cane of Burna strats to get past that spike.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah, and he hasn't even activated the switch, and he's going to do it again, so he's going to have a real problem here in a second.
Yep. That is, if he realizes what... Yeah, there he goes.
I was going to say, he hasn't even activated the switch, so he can just go right on through, and then he did the thing.
Yeah, this is such a common thing with this dungeon. Oh,
Looks like Hyphenated doing the same play here.
Yeah. This
Just,
could be incredibly
with
lucky.
Visual acuity.
Yeah, so he's going to have a tiny bit of an easier time down here. I was going to say, go pick up that full magic, but nope. Down he goes. So he's going to have one shot at that cane, and then... or no, he doesn't have enough. Okay. Well,
But he's got that green potion.
yeah, good thing. So if we find the item on Vitreous, this is going to be fantastic for dustsen. If we don't, Hyphenated is going to be in a really good situation here where he gets the benefit of being able to clear the entire dungeon rather than just most of. Dustin's gonna put on that cape, stop taking damage from these.
Cape strats are good. Yeah, I was gonna say, Dustin, just don't spin. Just stand there and slash a lot.
Yeah,
That works.
just hit him with the pointy end.
Because if you have the cape out, you can literally just spam sword, and you won't lose magic nearly as quickly.
Hyphenated manages to get a spin on the actual eyeball before it comes out to play. Ugh, that's not good.
Yep, so Dustin has a few other places he can check in Mire if he wants to, or he can peace out and head somewhere else. Fire Rod cannot possibly be on Turtle Rock Laser Bridge. We've already checked that. Or we've already checked the possibility of it being on Turtle Rock Laser Bridge.
Yeah, we're not getting far at all in Turtle Rock until we find that fire rod. Dustin is opting to say no to the rest of Mire. This is interesting.
Looks like we may see a pod check.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you wouldn't sort of follow the rest of the thread of that those upgraded mitts, but he might be thinking, like, what if I missed something ages ago?
Well, I mean, the only other things that the mitts would give you are the rest of Mire here, Ice Palace, the Smith Chain, and the part of Turtle Rock that he's already checked.
Yeah. So we do now officially know that the Smith's Chain has something that might be required. We don't actually know yet. If the fire rod is back here in the fire locked portion of Mire, then you're not getting a fire source without that lamp.
Oh, there's a burrito. And it looks like Pod is in fact bow-locked.
Yep. We are looking at a potential late bow seed. Because we really don't have that many. Well, I was going to say we don't have that many things left to check, or left to find, but we do have a couple things left to find.
And as we recall, Dustsen never checked Eastern a while back.
Oh, well, he's about to be disappointed with the results of it.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be quite a while till we see that bow. Or we can see it right here on Hyphenate's screen. I'm trying this again. Nope.
We'll say you're close. Well, let's hope that the fire rod is not somewhere like here in Mire where Dustin can actually check, which is very possible. We're still looking for another item, and it's got to be over here on the right hand side. It is stuff that was available to him. He just didn't see it.
So the big chest is the only thing remaining in Misery Mire, and that will contain the last item.
Now,
and it's a shield.
It's a fire something. So it was close. Okay, so remember that whole thing about Swamp Palace?
No, swamp doesn't exist.
We are the item clock is ticking down to 0 for Mire. I mean Swamp. There's not.
Yeah, it might actually be Swamp O'Clock now, and I'm not a huge fan of Swamp O'Clock.
No. Yeah, the problem is, oh boy, can we ever full clear that dungeon?
Now, my current philosophy on this would have me do would definitely have me skip left side.
Oh yeah, you're looking for that one progression. You're probably not. I mean, maybe you're looking for 2 progression items out of ice, or swamp. I can't. It's just there's a bunch of wet palaces. It's like Misery Mire and Ice Palace and Swamp. It's just they're all the same.
To be fair, I would probably go ice before swamp, but I'm just weird.
Yeah, neither of them are great options. Ice Palace, you're just spending a ton of time in there to find 3 items. And Swamp Palace, you're doing the same thing for 6, but it's a pendant.
Right. And then, so the other thing about ice is, and I haven't run the data on this to confirm it, but I often find when you've got Bombos and you're looking for Fire Rod, it's in ice. When you got Fire Rod and you're looking for Bombos, it's in ice. That's the rule.
Yeah.
I might just be superstitious.
You might be, but I mean...
But I honestly think that the way the algorithm works, there may be a slight grain of truth to that particular mantra.
There's, superstitions come from somewhere. They're, humans are really good at seeing patterns.
Oof, Dustin gets a little bit bumped by that bumper.
Yeah, the activating the cape is weird. It doesn't, it's not. I don't know what the right adjective. It's not snappy. It's not. You don't just hit the button and now the cape is on. There's a variety of delays in place, which can kind of screw up your timing for exactly when you want to use the cape.
I believe the The term I would use is latent
Yeah.
or just laggy.
Yeah, that's... Are you telling me there's lag in this game?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. We certainly don't quantify it and tally it at the end of the game or anything. We're finally getting our shovel check, I think. It's exciting.
All right, so we're going for a dig.
Oh, man.
It's a fire rod!
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, well, this might save us from swamp. Oh, Hyphenated is taking that thing straight to Ice Palace.
He might be going to Hobo first.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because I know he didn't go to Hobo, and he's going to get the silver arrows because of it, and that's going to feel pretty good.
Yeah. Blue mail, tempered sword, silver arrows is exactly what you want to see long before you head into Ganon's Tower. It's a nice, comfortable, it's commonly said that this game is easier than vanilla no major glitches, and it's definitely harder in a way. It's a little more taxing on your brain, but as far as this game deciding to hand some nice things to you, it certainly is easier quite a bit more often.
All right, so Hyphenated now heading into Ice Palace. We will get to see what sort of glorious garbage is in here.
So we've officially unlocked another rando meme, which is the possibility of Bo being in Turtle Rock, which I'm excited about.
There is that.
We've
also Ice Rod in Turtle Rock.
Also Ice Rod in Turtle Rock. If it doesn't show up here in Ice Palace, which it also enjoys doing.
Ice Rod has, like, in my experience, Ice Rod has no bias whatsoever. It just defies all logic. It's like wherever you think you might have an inkling where it might be, it's not there.
Well, on the other hand, if you do check the actual release statistics for standard mode,
I think it's slightly higher weighted toward Mimic Cave or something dumb like that.
It's as a grouping of places, compared to any other grouping of places in the game, it has a higher chance of showing up in just Turtle Rock in general. It's like a 0.5% to a percentage point higher, but that's not insignificant in Randomizer. Nice arrow drops we can't do anything with. Thanks a lot, Pen Gators.
All right, so Hyphenated over in the right-hand side of Ice Palace, courtesy of that first small key in the first chest. Always makes your routing through Ice Palace just that much better.
Well, it looks like those Pen Gators were stashing some more of those 10 arrow drops in the chests here.
There's the big key in its vanilla location.
Lovely.
And dustsen, unlike Hyphenated, will be able to check the Bombos tablet while he's over here if he so desires.
Yeah, but he bypassed that shovel location while he was taking the purple chest down. I can understand like not wanting to go up there because you can't run as easily, but he's gonna have to go there at some point.
Almost have just a big 20 today.
Ice Palace being as mean as it ever is.
I did just confirm that Dustsen does in fact have the shovel marked on his personal tracker, just to make sure he does know that it is there.
Right. It's definitely, especially because it shows up in the same slot as flute in your actual in-game menu. It's definitely one of those things that you just forget. Even if you're paused and you're looking at your items, you sort of forget, like, oh yeah, what about that shovel? So we found a whole 20 rupees and 10 arrows here in Ice Palace. It's
I believe that puts the last item on Cold Stare proper.
Yeah, it does indeed. Thankfully, we have that red cane to make this slightly easier. Dustin, yes, going to get his fire rod. Fantastic. He's going to be a little tiny bit frustrated that he passed that up on his other way over, but... Oh. I was about to say, is he fluting a 1? That would be bold.
The play into Turtle Rock would be very fun.
That would be bold.
To be fair, it's a play I might make on some occasions.
Now he's heading straight into ice.
And the 10 bomb drop on Cold Stare. So Ice Palace turning out to be completely devoid of anything good.
Well, to be fair, we managed to make all of the numbers at the top of the screen go up a little bit. So that was nice.
There's that. Yeah, including the key number.
Yeah. we just don't need any of those. Garbage.
All right, so Hyphenated now has the choice. Do we go into Swamp or do we go into Turtle Rock? It looks like we're doing the Swamp play, which, you know, I can't really fault anybody for at this point.
Yeah.
He might be doing Bombo's tablet first.
Lambloss tablet.
The thing where you do words.
Yeah, you hold up your sword and then for some reason, like, why couldn't you do that without the book?
Because you don't know the instruction manual.
That's a good point. I never read the instructions.
Hyphenated doing a classic move that I tend to do occasionally. Just go into Swamp without draining it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like sometimes you just get sucked into that door. Where you're like, all right, let me pull out this mirror. Wow.
Yeah, that is right. No catfish yet. I don't even think we've seen a pyramid check.
No catfish. I don't recall a pyramid check. And what I think is interesting about the Swamp Palace check is that we had... I mean, I guess it is the more valuable play over anything else, but
It's the more chest dense play. The value of it remains to be seen.
Yeah. Well, so far it's been valued at 50 rupees.
There you go.
I gotta imagine we find the bow in here.
It is entirely possible.
I gotta. That's my hot prediction today. Other than the other one.
Well, for my own self-validation, I personally hope that Swamp is complete garbage, but that's only me.
Sure. It's either that Ice Rod is here and Bow is going to be in Turtle Rock, or Bow is going to be here and Ice Rod's going to be in Turtle Rock. But either way, I got another hot prediction for Palace of Darkness is that it's full of garbage.
I believe nope is the proper prediction for that.
Yeah.
All right, so as we may have predicted earlier, Hyphenated is going to go ahead and skip the left side for now, and that does make plenty of sense.
Yeah. This is the chest dense part of the dungeon, and there's a very good chance that there's just nothing on the left side of Swamp at this point. It's a very rare chance.
And we haven't seen a map or a compass yet, so it could be that both of those are over there.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want to see when you're skipping left side, and not at all what you want to see when you make the play over the left side first.
Mushroom. Green rupee.
No.
So the mushroom just delays our knowledge about the value of Swamp.
It does.
The burrito, which is not what you want to see.
Nope. So that puts one item over on the left side.
Now we can go say hi to Argus.
The other thing is, like, if we don't find anything here and Hyphenated decides to make over a play over to Skull Woods,
yep,
we get to see our pedestal check as well.
That's true. There's still one item left in Skull Woods, along with that green pendant as well, so good possibility of something being there.
There is indeed. Now, the only thing that could be on pedestal right now is Ice Rod, which is the worst.
You are not wrong. And there goes Argus. What do you have?
Oh.
It's a bow!
Oh, man. Beautiful second phase kill, though. But,
so what about Ice Rod and Pod now?
It's not going to be there. It's going to be in Turtle Rock. There's nothing. There's nothing in Pod. We're going to full clear the whole thing, and it's just going to be garbage. Going for that one item over on left side. It's a bold
I mean,
move.
could be the Ice Rod.
Could be. If it is, that is bad news for Dustin, because I put the odds that he skips left side at over 50%.
So I think I need to start amending my rule about Swamp always being garbage. I think it might be Swamp is always garbage unless it's a pendant.
Yeah. If it's pendant, then there's all kinds of goodies in there. Titan's Mitt, bow, Ice Rod. Whew.
But if it's not a pendant, you're going to get the crystal, and that's it.
No. You're going to find a bunch of garbage on the way to the back, and then you're going to think to yourself, but there's one item over in left side. What could it be? And it's a big 20. Dustin's making the right play here down to Swamp, if this is indeed the play that he's making.
Looks like the Swamp play is live for both players.
Yep.
We'll see if Dustin decides to go back in after the trip to Argus.
Yes, indeed. We're about to figure out what that one last item that we have sitting here in this dungeon is. It's the one we're looking for. We're in go mode. If it's not, we are...
Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me right
No! No, 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 no! That's disgusting!
Swamp, you're fired. Get out.
Swamp!
And see, that's the thing. The ice rod does not follow your logic.
No, the ice rod doesn't care for you or your family.
Correct. The ice rod is not unlike a honey badger.
Doesn't have time for any crap. Oh, man.
And that officially puts Hyphenated in go mode.
Yeah, he gets to go mode 2 dungeons that one of them might not look any different in go mode. The other one, Palace of Darkness, might look amazing in go mode or might look absolutely terrible. This is problematic for Dustin unless he goes left side first. And even if he does go left side first and finds that ice rod, there's a very real possibility he just says, nope, bow and turtle rock.
Ooh, yeah. I don't think there's any way this ends well for Dustin.
Yeah. He's going to make exactly the right choices here.
So yeah, we're getting to see a rare go mode pod, which is kind of a strange animal.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find the big key before you can leave, and that could be in a whole lot of places. So it's not unlike Misery Mire in that you sometimes have to complete the whole silly thing.
Yep. I mean, it could be in an amazing spot like right up these stairs ahead of Hyphenated, or it could be somewhere stupid like just before the big key chest.
Yep. We know these 2 chests up here will contain at least 1 small key. The other one does have a chance of being something else.
Yep.
And it is. So the remaining 4 chests, 3 chests. There's 3 chests up front. The remaining ones will contain a small key.
Yes.
The one in the big key chest, the one in the basement, and the one that Hyphenated just bonked to.
Yes, we've got 6 chests up front before the door that locks the back half of Palace of Darkness. 4 of those chests have to require keys. So we found 2 non-key things in chests up front. Therefore, we know exactly what the contents of the rest of the chests are.
And so there is a reason we tend to think of pod as the mullet of dungeons.
Yeah.
Because all the business is up in the front and the party's in the back.
Business is in the front for good reason. Otherwise, the game could just not work.
So we did find 2 keys here in the back. That means there can be something in the room just south of here, the so-called harmless hellway.
Yep.
There's another bottle.
Okay, Dustin is not mirroring out after Rod. We'll see what he does after this. No, he's not mirroring it at all. So he's in the fortunate situation where he's going to make it all the way through here and find his bow on Argus.
Yep. I mean, you figure if you've already made the left side play, you might as well just finish it out.
Oh, that is the...
And Hyphenated finally finds that big key.
That is literally the worst possible place that it can be if you know what the key situation is up front. He's going to have to pull another key after using that key there. I don't know if this is faster or not. It might be.
So this is one of those weird situations with the key situation stuff where I actually would have probably done the hammer jump thing.
Yeah.
To save a key, and that way I don't have to get this one.
Yeah, there are... Hammer Yump is not a time save in pod in every situation in Randomizer, like it is in the one situation of no major glitches. But it can be, and learning it can save you time.
So yeah, there's no real there's nothing really stopping the runners from watching the stream or anything, but we pride ourselves in integrity around here. That being said, for the bracket stage, there is a new rule that's going to be implemented in that the runners will be required to delay their stream by about 15 minutes. So even if they did watch the stream, they'd be about 15 minutes behind.
Yes, indeed. The other fact of the matter is this is a 5-win rate. Both of these runners have already made it to the bracket stage. So there is not really much of a functional difference between going 6-1 or 5-2.
Right. Other than I got 6 wins, and therefore I am awesome.
Good for me.
Yes, there will be a 15-minute delay enforced on all the bracket matches.
For the comment there that the delay rule is going to kill the end of race interview, not really. All it's going to mean is that most of the runners are going to just sit there for 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes later, we're going to call them in and say, hey, do you want to talk about this? I mean, if they choose not to sit around for 15 minutes, that's an entirely different thing, but I'm kind of a fan of it because at the end of the match, you know, after you kill Ganon, you still got some adrenaline.
Yeah, it gives you 15 minutes to get up, you know, shake it off, go pee.
Yeah. Yeah, you never want to do an interview while you pee. So Dustin in the unfortunate situation again where he didn't have a fire source the first time he came to the Mire area and to finish off the back of Desert Palace before heading on to Palace of Darkness. Whereas Hyphenated is getting geared up and heading off to Turtle Rock.
Interesting.
Yeah, bold move, getting that 7th crystal.
Yeah. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Not true.
We'll have to see if that pays off.
I think it actually will.
Yeah.
It seems likely.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so Dustin picks up his 5th crystal. He's got Palace of Darkness and Turtle Rock left.
Whereas Hyphenated just has the Turtle Rock left. We know, unfortunately, in Dustin's case, that he is definitely a little bit behind because this Palace of Darkness dip is not a short one. You can
shorten it by doing a hammer yump, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And that's if you do it the first time.
Which I believe he knows how to do that. I think, if I recall correctly.
I learned that trick for the Key Sanity tournament back in the day. Because that was a real trick for that particular category.
Yeah. Not opening a door in key sanity spells the difference between races. I recall it killing me in one of my matches where I accidentally opened the Turtle Rock Vanilla Big Key chest door when one of the Turtle Rock keys was on the pendant, or on the pedestal rather. Fun times.
Oh boy.
All right, so we get to see what these chests that we didn't see before there's the big key, and we got to have another small key back here. So we're in a good situation here for being able to ignore Laser Bridge. We found 2 small keys so far, and the big key. So if we find one small key that's not in its not in the vanilla big key spot before we make the Laser Bridge, we get to ignore Laser Bridge entirely.
Nice. This is one of the reasons I'll end up checking the big chest even if I'm not even if I'm in go mode, is the possibility of there being an extra key there seems good.
Seems good indeed. All right, Dustin, you do the hammer jump? No, it's too late at this point.
I think he's setting up to do it afterwards, because he's got. Because after you come from down below, you can try it again with a much quicker, or with more time to do it. What I'm trying to say.
I mean, this is fair. Like, there's 4 chests over here, and then there's 2 in the dark maze. But you know that you're looking for keys over on this side, whereas you're not in the dark maze. So,
And the thing with that is, if he didn't plan on hammer jumping, I don't know why he would bomb that wall.
Yeah, here he goes.
He was a little high.
Unfortunately, he's gonna opt to just go through it the vanilla way.
Yeah, my hammer jump tends to not save any time because I do way too many pause buffers.
Okay, so we found our we found our third required key in Turtle Rock on the hyphenated side. So he gets the wonderful situation where he gets to actually, in some real sense, go mode Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you can skip that last room of chests if you so desire. If you're really desperate for, like, Butter Sword, I guess you could do that, but why? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, really. I think if you're at approximately 130 heading into the Trinex fight, I don't think you're digging around for any other safeties. You're thinking, I'm on pace for a sub 140, and at this level of play where we're 5-1, you don't want to be going that far over one. Hyphenated with the back strats for Trinex gets to narrowly the ice head spitting out the ice. Really well done there.
And a very nicely done double spin slash to get rid of Trinex's main body. And this will be the 7th crystal for Hyphenated, so I think we know what time it is.
I think we do know what time it is. There's a fun game we like to play here, where we guess which of the 22 possible chests inside Ganon's tower that the key can be in. Or which the big key is going to be in when Hyphenated finds it. The fun thing about this game is that if you are somebody who has either subscribed to a speed gaming channel or donated at least 250 bits to a speed gaming channel, you get the opportunity to get on the leaderboard by guessing correctly.
Yep. So what's your favorite location for that?
My personal favorite location is 15 at this point because it literally never happens.
So you like the vanilla chest, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you do right side strats first, in which case it's probably going to end up in the rando room.
Right. So we found 2 small keys in the first 2 chests here, which means the right side play is a fairly solid play with 2 small keys on the right.
Yeah, it's that signal from the game saying, here's the key that you need to go right, and here's another one in case you open that door to your left like a dingus.
Yep. We have seen dingus happen in this tournament before.
Well, I had a seed yesterday where, like, Ganon's Tower key logic very rarely comes into play. You very rarely ever have to think of it because the keys just kind of show up along the way. But it does. Yeah, there you go.
It is. Chest number 4 for Hyphenated.
Well done, Dr. Bob-tastic. I mean, I guess we didn't. What was your guess? You did put it in.
Mine was 14.
Okay,
Because
so
I always go for Bob's chest. It's the contractually obligated guess.
Contractually, indeed. Well, you were. You had one of the numbers right. So close enough. But yeah, the 2 keys in the first 2 chests definitely go right.
Yeah, so I've actually put a dumb amount of time into again sour key logic, and I ran some data on it.
Have you?
Yes. So so my routing actually is based on I'll actually always check the first 2 on the right and then the torch and the Stalfos room, and then from there I'll decide what to do based on how many keys I've seen.
Okay.
And if I see at least 3 keys in chests and stuff, I'll go right. And since there were 2 already, it was fairly likely that there was a 3rd.
Okay. See, I make up my strategy as I go along, which.
Well, I mean, you have a better record than I do, so what do I know?
I mean, what indeed do I know? Some days I don't know what I know.
All right, so Dustsen is finishing up Turtle Rock as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, his opponent is already on the way up Ganon's Tower. This is the Landmo 2 fight, which he's, actually managing to pull off with sword strats here.
Yeah, that's surprising. Usually with those silvers, you'd see silver strats, but...
Yeah, not everybody is particularly comfortable with silver strats, though.
Yeah, you gotta get up nice, close, and personal with those landmos. It is, like you're implying at this point, Hyphenated's race to lose. It would be quite the upset at this point if a trip up the gauntlet loses out to this trip inside Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Though I think at least for Dustsen's sake, he can at least more than likely count on being in Ganon's tower when his opponent finishes.
Yes.
Which is basically where my goal is every race I do.
I'd like to be not more than one dungeon behind. Got to pick up that extra key. Not guaranteed to find one up here.
So, yeah, that actually brings up another interesting point about, well, I say interesting only because I'm a huge nerd, but about Ganon's Tower key logic. So, when you're on that right-hand room in the compass room, and you find the big key, there is a non-trivial and actually fairly large chance that one of the other chests contains a small key. And so a lot of times I will just go ahead and check those just to be like, okay, that way I don't have to kill the things on the way up.
Right. Okay.
But if there is not a big key in there, there cannot be a small key in that room. And the same is true for Rando Room.
You know, I didn't start to even think about Ganon's Tower key logic until you run a few entrance randomizers and suddenly, hang on a minute. It's,
oh yeah, there you go.
This dungeon's not that easy to get through.
Ganon's Tower key sanity cross-world.
Oh yeah.
There you go. There's your good times right there. All right, so we're on to the Aga 2 fight, Geometry Wizard, as some people like to call him.
Gonna have to break out the protractor and figure out some angles here. That's gonna be a triple.
Nice. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So we got a pig to kill, and then we're good to go. And it looks like you are probably going to be right here. Dustsen is going to be just entering Ganon's Tower as Nate finishes up his game.
Yeah, or at least on the way.
Ooh.
Dustsen accidentally firing to the right instead of forward.
Yeah, there are a lot of heads on this turtle, but none of them are... Almost pulls off the double spin. That was very, very close.
Meanwhile, Hyphenated looks to be... Alright, so we're on to the second cycle of Phase 2 here. And that should be enough hits to take him to Phase 3 as we dodge fire bats left and right.
So far, he's not that bad with the teleporting. Oh, wow. So friendly. Wow.
Indeed. Only like one really extraneous teleport. We found the arrows in the light world, you bet we did.
Did. You gave them to some hobo under a bridge. It was weird.
Ooh, nice
my
little
heart.
dodge out of the way there as Hyphenated throws out a couple more arrows. This could be a double. Yes, and that does it.
That was a very close double. Very impressive. Fantastically done from Hyphenated.
Yes, and Hyphenated has officially finished with an official time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 31 seconds.
Yeah, so just popping right underneath that hot 140 time.
And we will see if we can get a hold of Hyphenated for some interview action. Meanwhile, Dustsen is heading over to the right-hand side, should be picking up his big key shortly.
Yeah, we know absolutely that this is play to make.
Alright, so it turned out there wasn't a small key in there, but what are you going to do?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
And we are now joined by the winner of today's race, Hyphenated. How you doing?
Hello. Pretty good.
That was a pretty nice race.
Thank you. I felt pretty good about my performance in it.
Yep. So about that Swamp Palace.
Yeah. I felt kind of iffy about going into it at all, and then also iffy about going back in, but
Yeah.
I figured I need to do it. Like, if I have to come back later, it's even worse. And it paid off.
Yeah, and of course, the ice rod, defying all logic of all times, because you're like, there's only one item left. Surely the ice rod is somewhere else. Nope.
No, not at all. I mean, at that point, you were starting to run out of locations. There were all the bow-locked parts of the world, but I think at that point, Eastern Palace couldn't have been a thing. Really looking at kind of Sahasrara and Pedestal, which are also terrible.
Yeah, there were I think 3 items in Skullwoods, counting the green pendant. There was 1 item left in Eastern, and there was like diving, turtle rock, or a pod. All of those seemed kind of miserable.
Yeah, how about that fire source as well? I can't remember how long it was in the game before you wound up finding one, but that lamp was elusive for most of the game.
Yeah, I don't even remember where.
The lamp was in the Peg Cave, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah.
And you found it well before your opponent did. Your opponent actually dipped into Desert Palace and Mire without it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the troubling things that put him behind and took you ahead was the ability to more efficiently route Mire. Yeah, it never feels great, right? Waiting the entire game until you find the fire source when you know you're going to need it to complete a bunch of those dungeons.
Yeah. Speaking of Mire, I was kind of kicking myself after I walked back in, because I was like, wait a minute. I can just come back later for this one item. It doesn't take that long to get into Mire from just fluting. But then I was already in, and I'm like, oh, it's too late now. And I had to go, like, find all those chests. I did the cutscene chest, and it didn't have it, and then it was just junk.
Yeah, that was the portion of the race that was exciting countdown to the point when we're definitely going to have to make our way into Swamp.
Yep, very true. So Dustsen now is currently making his way through the final rooms of the Gauntlet. He's on his way to Moldorm 2 right now. So it was still a pretty close race all around. Now you were not... I'm sure this was more of a sort of a chill, less stressful race than the last few races you've been in, Hyphenated. On account of no real pressure here.
Right. I still did my best, though. Try and put on a good show.
Yep, and that's absolutely what we expect from you guys every week. Because you certainly got the capacity to do so.
Oh yeah, it was excellent seeing you guys with especially mean, early mirror is one of my favorite things to show up because you get to see, especially with top runners who know their routing, getting to see you guys sort of play with the routing and figure out where you want to take that mirror and move in and out of the dark world.
There we go. Dustin finish off Aga 2 with that 1-1-1-3 situation. That lineup for the triple was pretty sweet. I'm sure you saw it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, the seed, aside from, of course, having progression in Pendant Swamp, wasn't really that trolly.
Certainly could have turned out terrible. Ganon hitting us with some of that hot knowledge.
Anything else you have to say about this particular seed, Hyphenated?
Oh, I guess I could mention this is my first tournament race on my new SD2 SNES.
Ooh.
Wonderful.
How fancy. How fancy.
I actually have no idea how fancy.
No, me neither. Do you feel it's like what's the improvement there? Is there less input lag? Yeah.
All about input lag. I mean, there's people who care like philosophically about playing on original hardware.
Right.
I'm not one of them. I care about input lag. Like a couple of weeks ago, I just plugged in my old Super Nintendo for fun. I was like, hey, I wonder how it feels like to play my old Link to the Past cartridge, the one that I've had since I was 8. And I started playing, and I was like, oh my god, this feels so much better than what I'm used to. Like when it's just so much crisper when you move and swing your sword, especially. So I basically hemmed and hawed for about a week and then ordered one so that I could play Rando on my Super Nintendo.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely all of the. I'm not going to say all of, but basically, functionally, all of the top runners that we've got are all playing original hardware with a piece of hardware like that. I hear that it makes all the difference. I've sadly never gotten to experience it for myself, but it's just one of those tiny things that improves it. Dustin finished off the Big Pig, walked through the door, finds the Triforce. He is our second place finisher.
With an official time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 13 seconds. Congratulations to Dustin on finishing this race as well.
Congratulations indeed.
All right, so this was a excellent race between two excellent runners who for which the it came down to when do you go into swamp and what sort of things can you find as you go along. And we will see about getting Dustin into this chat for an interview as well. And there he is. Hello, Dustin. Congratulations on finishing.
Hello.
Whoa.
So it was a well played race for both runners. Pretty good. So what do we know about this seed? We know that Swamp Palace was a giant pain in the rear end. Because Pendant Swamp having value in both wings is kind of the worst thing.
Yeah, I had it earlier today where left side had Titan Mats and the Ice Sword. So that's the reason why I did go left. I thought, okay, Ice Palace didn't give anything. Flippers must have some value, so let's go left side first. I have a feeling there is something.
Well, there you go. You found the ice rod, and you managed to continue to get the bow, which was very good. Otherwise, we were worried you might have decided to go Turtle Rock after finding the ice rod immediately, but luckily that was not the case. So the main difference, or one of the major differences in what happened here, is your opponent found the lamp before he went over to Desert Palace. So that allowed him to clear out Desert Palace and actually clear out some, actually check everything in Mire before having to leave. I don't know if and he also went to check the shuffle spot a little earlier, so he found the fire rod quicker as well.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, it was pretty routing. I think right down to Swamp Palace, it was all just the correct plays again and again. Looking for.
I only misplayed getting the shovel spot, the fire rod, because I went with the purple chest past there, and then I thought, oh my god, I wasn't visiting the bed, and I didn't do the shovel spot, and I was so scared of it. Also, I was so scared to leave one chest in Maya behind.
Yeah.
That I didn't have anything at the point.
Yeah, you did the. So you did the purple chest, and then we noticed right immediately after that you were like, "No, I'm going back to do the shuffle." So that was good, but the Mire chest just turned out to be I think it was a shield, was what was left, so it wasn't that big a deal.
That's good to hear, because as I said, I was so scared. Then again, I thought, okay, I have the big key, I got a small key. So why not just continue on? Maybe the boss drops the other item.
Yeah, that would have been ideal, but unfortunately wasn't the case. So I imagine, you're not the world's happiest with not winning the race, but at least it's not going to have any long-term effects on your tournament standing, because you're certainly going to be around for the brackets next week. And so, I wish you the best of luck in that.
Thank you.
So is there anything else you'd like to say about this particular seed before we wrap things up here today?
Only that I didn't play really well. Other than that, the seed wasn't too bad. It was fine, so I would say GG to Hyphenated, and thanks for the commentary and thanks for watching.
All right, so I want to once again thank both of our runners, Hyphenated and Dustin, for showing off their talents today. I want to thank our tracker, Vash1978, for taking care of all of these glorious icons that you see on the screen here. And of course, thank you to my co-commentator, Fantalis, who made this a joy to commentate.
Oh, you too.
And with that, it's about time to wrap things up. Make sure to follow all the speed gaming channels and the ALTTP Randomizer channels for all the rando action you can stand. And of course, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, the best way to support the people involved is to give them a follow here on Twitch, and everybody here would appreciate that. So I will just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I'm also here.
Are you? Really? Cool.
I'm Fantalis, and no thank you to Left Side Swamp. Stop it.
I agree.
Just stop it.
See you later, everybody.